Executive producer Tim Minear. This actor wanted to be introduced as bounty hunter and sandwich maker. You know him better as a leaf on the wind. Alan Tudyk. Captain Tight Pants, or sometimes No Pants, Nate Fillion.
I can't hear you guys.
This is the audience participation portion of the show. The hero of Canton, the man they call Anniv Baldwin. Last but not least, the creator of Buffy, Angel, Dollhouse, Firefly, the director of the third biggest movie of all time, Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon. The camera?
I'm good. Nope, I got this one. Forgot our water. We have time for questions. I know you have a lot to ask. I have a lot. I know you have a lot to say. There are microphones positioned. You guys know the drill. You've been to Comic-Con. Joss Whedon. Congratulations on a great summer so far for you. It's been 10 years since the beginning of Firefly. 10 years of this sort of amazing story of a show that has survived cancellation to become the phenomenon that it is. What does it mean to you to be here today on the 10th anniversary of Firefly?
Means I'm running on fumes, let's face it. I haven't come up with anything new, so I'm just hoping people will still watch this. What else could it possibly mean? Except that we always knew from the very beginning that everything we were doing for the right reasons, in the right way, with the right people, that we were making something that was more than the sum of its parts, that we had the best cast I'll ever work with, the best writing team. We also had Alan. You know, it goes beyond Vindication. Vindication came a long time ago. It goes to a place of transcendence that I can't even describe without turning into a girly man. More of a girly man than I already am.
That was shameless. But Mal Reynolds, what does he mean to you, and what does it mean to be here today?
If I can get through this without crying, it'll look a lot cooler. Firefly was a lot of firsts for me. No one would give me a chance to be anything other than the number 5 guy Superhero's ex, the other dude who doesn't come in until later and then he leaves pretty early. He's good, but we don't know if he can carry a show. That's what I got all the time. No one would give me a chance. How am I gonna show anybody what I can do if no one will let me do it? And Joss Whedon was the guy. Gave me the best character I've ever played, the best words that have ever come out of my mouth. And that's where I'm gonna wrap it up.
Joss, 10 years ago when you created Firefly, what was on your mind? What kind of science fiction show did you want to create? How did it begin?
You know, at this point, I think it's so much in the vernacular that it seems old-fashioned. But I just wanted to make something that felt real, like a piece of history. I wanted to buck the system of all science fiction is lit with purple lights and has big green heads, and I wanted to tell an American immigrant story. I wanted to tell a Western story, but I need spaceships or I get cranky.
And Tim Minear, you worked with Joss for years. I'd love to know, what were your thoughts when he said, "Hey, I want to, make a science fiction Western"? Did you think that would be a hit show?
Oh, I never think anything Joss is going to do on TV is going to be a hit show.
That's fair.
It is fair. What I will say is that it was never in the plan for me to work on this show. I was working on Angel, TV's Angel. And my best friend came down to a set at Paramount and let me play with his spaceship. And it was about the coolest thing. The other spaceship. You're like, and here's my cargo bay. Look, I was a geeky kid growing up. I went to cons, and that's what I did. And Joss Whedon, the coolest guy in Geekland, said, "Come be on my spaceship," and it means as much to me now as it did then, which is kind of a lot.
Yeah, I have to, give the dark underbelly of that story as well.
Thank you.
Jose, I'd love to ask a question, Jose. What was it like to tell stories in this world? Because you could tell science fiction stories, you could tell Western stories, you could tell a little bit of both. What was it like for you as a writer?
It was kind of like being a pig in shit, honestly. A pig in fecal matter. I had been an assistant on Buffy and Angel. I was Howard Gordon's assistant, so I always felt kind of like the kid on the outside looking in and going, "Please let me play with the pretty toys." And then Firefly came along after I'd gotten my first gig, and I didn't even have to interview it because I knew Joss and I knew Tim. And so I was invited into the sandbox. And then, it's just how hard do you geek out, and how hard do you sort of push your own tendencies, which mine were a little more traditional, Star Trek-y, sort of old-fashioned sci-fi. And our homework before we started work was to watch a lot of Westerns. So I tried to be as much of what I thought the guys wanted me to be. And pitch along what the whole staff was pitching and try to make it Westerny. And then ultimately what I wound up writing was the one with the spaceships and the core planet and all the pretty things and the laser guns and but it was literally a dream come true writing on the show and complete.
How do you do that? And my whole thing is, hey, what if they're sad? Hey, what if it's about his father? I can do it. But the actual, coming up with structure, and then that structure has meaning, the stuff you did on that, I was like, oh, thank God we have someone who can do this. And then later on I'll add more sad. Maybe I'll kiss somebody.
Sean, you figured prominently in the episode of Ariel. You're like the Danny Ocean of Imperial Hospital heists. I love love to know, science fiction, Western, fusion of Western culture and Chinese cultures. This sounds kind of really weird. Love to know, kind of like dropping into the middle of this world at the very beginning. I mean, was it difficult? Was it challenging, or did you take to it easy?
Was it weird or awesome?
Yeah. Or was it? Yeah.
It was awesome. I think that's what I loved about it. That we, my first introduction to the world of Firefly actually came out of Joss's mouth. I don't even know if you remember. When we were first meeting the first actors, and we just had all I had was that Simon speech in the pilot to go on, and so I had a lot of questions. So I had said to Joss, the first thing I said was, "Hey, please tell me about this world." So I got to hear it all come from this man's mouth, which was pretty extraordinary. I never once thought of it as science fiction. I don't know who coined the phrase a post-apocalyptic Western, but that's always how I spoke about the show, post-apocalyptic Western. Ariel to me is actually one of my favorite episodes for many reasons. I mean, just working with these guys was extraordinary. The writing was extraordinary.
Nathan, I have a question for you, which is that it's very obvious watching the show, whether you're a fan at the beginning or have discovered it on Science or DVD, that this cast really enjoyed working together, unless you were faking it really well. But the chemistry of the cast was really a key to the success of the show. What was it like creating that bond, among the cast and while making the episodes?
Nathan. Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm glad you asked me. I can't help but think I should have been paying more attention to the question. Can I answer?
Alan,
what Nathan means to say is right in the beginning of when we first started shooting the series, Nathan came up to all the actors and he goes, "All right, we're learning everybody's names. It's a contest. His name's Jim, his name's Alan, his name's Tom, his name's Brian. All right? I'm winning." And it took off. And so it became a game of learning everybody's name. And a lot of times actors and crew, they get separated, it just happens. You kind of go into your little camps. And that brought everybody together, because we were walking around going, "Hi, Brian, hi, Jim, and Tim, and it brought us together as a family a lot. I think that was the biggest thing.
Cool. It's important when and the names of the staff.
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah.
Abby.
All right, moving on. Adam, I have a question for you, but we have a clip to set it up first, so let's roll the clip with that.
Clips. I like clips.
The mystery.
Brilliant.
Adam, we were talking before the panel about just sort of all the things the actors brought to their characters, and in this moment, this is a great example of how you made a choice with this hat in the episode. Can you talk a little about the story of the hat?
Well, it works great. Talk through the hat without being muffled. He was really talking through his hat. One of the women who worked in the office knitted a couple of these. She was a good knitter. You call them knitters? She knitted well. She made two of these, and when I first looked at it, this is beautiful, great, terrific. And I made a conscious choice and talked with Tim, because Tim, this was the last episode we shot. Tim, I said, "Tim, can I wear it pretty much through the whole episode?" And he was like, "I don't know, maybe that's a little over." I said, "I'm doing it." Joss isn't here, I'm doing it. So then I was able to use it to take it off at the end to honor Tracy's parents, the survivors, because Tracy, we were burying him at the end there. So what was the question? Oh yeah, doings. I always like to have doings. Jane was a man of a few words, but he had a lot of props and stuff. So I worked real hard with the prop guys, and this hat just fit perfect. I mean, oh my God, this is a goldmine. This is like a birthday cake in a wasteland. It's just great. It's a birthday cake in a wasteland.
And you made a choice to wear that through the whole episode, right?
Say again?
You made a choice to actually wear that throughout the entire episode, and
Well, Tim agreed after I twisted his arm a little bit, so thank you for that. It turned out okay at the end. Thank you.
It turned out very well, but I feel like you're talking through your hat.
But I'm shocked.
I think that we have a special purpose for this hat, don't we?
I was asked to.
Oh, God, it's going to be a riot.
Well, how do we determine who answers the question?
What we're going to do is we're going to. Where's our line? Where's our line with the microphone? Right here.
There you are.
Adam has a question to ask, and the first person who gets it right is going to win this hat.
Not on the thing yet, so people in the back can't see it. What happened?
All right, here's a trivia question to win this beautifully knitted jean replica hat.
It's a replica.
It's a replica. I'll tell you, the original one went for $5,000 to charity. So thank you.
Oh, shit.
And he's a replica.
And the trivia question is, on which planet did Tracy wish to be buried?
Can I answer that?
Hey, come on now. What's your answer?
Oh, God, okay.
The name?
I'll tell you what. Let's move on. We will, if someone comes to the microphone during the Q&A portion and has the answer, we'll give away the hat.
Smartphone.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, Joss, do you remember?
Oh, I already admitted I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Just checking. Sweetie, I'm not sure who some of you are.
His home planet.
It's true. It's just, I'm in a bit of a fog. Some of you may know from last night why.
Weird.
Looks like you got some good seeds. Nice, nice. I don't know how you got the good seeds, but that's cool. All right.
Who was sleeping outside last night and got woken up by this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Did you think you were dreaming?
I have a question for Summer, but we have another clip first, so let's roll the clip here. That character.
Remembering myself at 17, which was like 2 years before. Pretty much it.
Joss, I'd just love to know, just like, it's hard to hear up here sometimes. I'd just love to know, just like, how important were these actors in sort of bringing your vision to life? And you could just talk about, like, casting, like, Summer, like, why was she perfect for River?
You can't change your mind now. I already got cast.
Sure. George Lucas could. He could digitally make you a man. I'm not saying we've had a meeting about it. I'm just saying. These, as I've said before, are honestly the finest meat puppets that I've ever controlled. And it's hard for me because I do remember the time before these people played these parts. I remember the audition process. I remember, it was an incredibly long and ghastly process, quite frankly. And yet, then comes written history where many times the Killer Angels and was like, this is the story I want to tell, but with Han Solo in it. And I feel like the moment that happened, like all of them sort of like were somewhere just like went, like they became somebody else, and they didn't know it yet, but they were those people before they met me, and even if they hadn't been playing them or playing that particular type of person, it just. Summer is so crazy, and the amount of vulnerability and strength that she can convey is beyond magnetic. It is, I look at her and I think I will come with her if I want to live. And Joss, why was Nathan the perfect captain for the Serenity? Why was Nathan Fillion the perfect captain